And so therefore, I've moved on to take Rudy Vrba on as my métier, because I met Rudy. And I really liked him. And he wasn't this intimidating character that everybody said he was at all. There was a writer named Stephen Businesseye who wrote a book called In Praise of Older Women, which was famous in Canada in the 60s and 70s, and he was a Hungarian guy. And he wrote to me from London and said, if you live in Vancouver, you got to go see this guy named Rudy Vrba. I never heard of him. But this Stephen Businesseye is a really smart guy. And if Stephen is saying, I got to go see this guy, I got to go see him. So I called up Rudy Vrba and I went to see him. And I liked him immediately. And we had a long, like 3-hour lunch at UBC. And I don't know what age. This is in 2001 maybe. Anyway, and then during the course of this, Rudy was working at UBC teaching in pharmacology, and he did a lot of research on the brain. And as it happened, I had been diagnosed with a brain tumor at the time, and I was waiting to go in for brain surgery. So in the course of the interview with Rudy, I said, oh, by the way, I've got a big orange in my head, and they're going to operate on me soon. And Rudy said, oh, I can't imitate him very well, so I won't even try. But imagine an accented voice. Where is it? And I said, oh, I don't know. I think it's here or something. And he goes, oh, you'll be fine. And then we went back to talking about whatever he wanted to talk about. And it was shocking, his level of disinterest in my brain tumor. And I thought, that was really interesting. And I thought about that since. And I've now realized what a favor he did for me. He didn't go, oh, that's terrible, Alan. or like to him, that was nothing. Oh, well, you'll be all right. Let's talk about me. and it was the best thing, because there was nothing he could have done about anything about it anyway. So the best thing was to ignore it. And so that's my little, Rudy was a very different person. If you watch him in the Lanceman documentary, the thing you'll notice right away, he's dressed way better than Claude Lanceman. He's dressed to the nines. Well, the reason I got it, I always wear jeans, but I thought, you know what? I'm doing a Rudy Vrba talk. I'll put on a suit for God's sake, because to honor Rudy, Rudy would dress up to the nines. And the reason he dressed up to the nines was not because he was a vain, cocksure guy, which he was, and I believe he was also, how should I say, very interested in the other opposite sex, as we called it at the time. But when you're in Auschwitz, the way to survive was to look good. I mean, look good in terms of healthy. And if you didn't look healthy and fit and impressive, that's the end of your life. And people were killed for looking weak. And the way that Rudy started his memoir, which is not in the new version of the memoir, which is just published in 2020, they've taken out this beginning chapter. We won't go into that, but it's very interesting why they might have done it. But Rudy's original chapter opens with the Himmler coming to Auschwitz, and he concentrates on this. Rudy describes this one character, sort of a pathetic-looking, weak-looking guy, who everybody, when he went to do the lineup for Himmler, and he's inspecting all these guys, this guy had a button undone on his coat, and that was the excuse for him to be killed immediately. And Rudy describes this as this little unknown character, but because he didn't look right, he had something wrong with his appearance, that was enough to get you killed. So then when I think about that, it explains to me why when Rudy went to be interviewed by Lanceman, this beautiful tan suit, and like this, and all the other people that Lanceman talks to, you can see that they've been, how can I say, damaged in some way by the Holocaust. There's something about them that's hurt or pleading, or they look wounded in some way. Rudy was not going to look wounded. You can't wound me. And that's Rudy. And that's sort of like, wow. He was different than almost anybody, that he had this defiant attitude. You're not going to, there's no way you're going to beat me down. So that's why he always was a fancy dresser. It was a to my mind, psychological self-protection